You know those situations where your team members say to you, I wanted to ask for help, but I didn't think you had time, or I wanted to come to you, but you look so busy, and then they don't come to you. And then whatever thing they were stuck with, it gets worse, and you're like, oh my God, just come to me next time. Well, I wanted to share a really simple strategy for helping your team members frame up a problem so that they can ask you a question faster and you can get them to the results that they need faster. Welcome to the Managing Made Simple podcast, where you get a masterclass in managing your team with ease in 15 minutes or less. I'm Lia Garvin, your host and team operations consultant. Through this show and my programs with small businesses and corporate teams, I condense a decade of experience driving team operations in some of the most influential companies in tech into strategies to save you time, money, and most of all, stress. Doesn't matter if you're a business owner who realized that running a team isn't as easy as you thought it would be, are a new manager learning the ropes, or are a seasoned manager ready to up their game. Everyone is welcome to hang out with Managing Made Simple. From conflicts to feedback to delegating and more, we leave no stone unturned when it comes to what makes us love managing, kind of hate it, and everything in between. Let's go. Welcome back to the show. This is something that I would suggest sharing with your team members right now, even if this isn't a challenge, because as things start to get busy, as you head into, end of the year, maybe you're in planning mode or you're not available, and your team members start kind of running with things on their own, you may find yourself in a situation where someone didn't come to you because they didn't want to bother you. And that in and of itself, I think there's a couple of things that we can do first to mitigate that, right? Setting up office hours, right? Where your team member can always come ask you a question. Proactively reaching out to folks and saying, hey, I'm going to be out for a few days and anybody need anything? Sharing with your team members the kinds of things that you can help them problem solve. So always come to me if you feel stuck with dealing with a difficult client or stakeholder, or obviously if you're having a conflict with another colleague, and really giving them permission to come to you. Also, asking for feedback is really helpful. Hey, what can I do to show up better for you as a manager? Things like that really open the door to your team members coming to you. But this came up recently because I was working with a client and they said, hey, one of the biggest challenges that we have on our team is they get stuck with something and then they don't want to bother their manager. And so they kind of try to muscle through it. And then it takes longer for them to do that. And the manager could have just helped them. Now, the managers are spread really thin. And so they don't just want to have someone coming to them and talking to them for an hour and dumping a problem on them either. So I said, this is a great opportunity to talk about how to frame a problem. So let me talk about this in 3 steps. And this is, again, something I encourage you to share with your team and ask of them. Say, hey, I want to make it really easy for you to come to me. Can you try framing your problem in this way? Okay. So step number 1 is coming to you and sharing, okay, here's where I'm stuck, and getting really specific into the point. So saying, hey, here's where I'm stuck. I have to reply to this challenging question this client asked, or, our VP asked this question that I'm not really sure how to answer it in a way. My answer is that we're not going to get this thing done on time. And I know that it could cause some frustration. So I'm getting stuck on how to respond to this. Okay. So they give you exactly where they're stuck. They don't come to you dumping on and kind of complaining about, oh my God, like this is always happening. I'm always late. What do I do? They come to you like bottom line, share the place that you're stuck. So that's step number 1. If someone gets very specific with you, you know exactly what you can help them with. Step number 2 is sharing, okay, here is either what I'm proposing or what I've tried before. So if they come to you stuck with something that, that's something that's come up in the past, maybe they say, well, here's what I've tried already. Here's where this didn't work. Or if it's something new, right, saying, okay, here's what I'm proposing in the situation. For example, with this email to a stakeholder, client, or VP or something like that, saying, okay, here's the draft that I've started writing, and I got stuck because I feel like it's getting really long and I'm making a lot of excuses. Or saying, here's the structure I'm proposing for the email. Saying, here is what I've seen work for communicating with this executive in the past, right? Things like that. So the person is bringing that proactivity to the situation. They're not just coming in and saying, help me, I don't know what to do. Like, can you take this off my plate? See ya, right? So you're maintaining that accountability in their court. When a team member comes to you stuck or frustrated or feels like, I don't know what to do next, the goal isn't to take that thing fully off their plate. It's actually to teach them what to do so that they can work through that next time. That's going to save you time and that's going to save them time. So step 2 is really important, where they share, what they've already tried, what they're proposing, or some sort of proactivity around solving this thing. Do you want some hands-on support for all of the topics I talk about on this show? like a team expert who has worked within tech giants like Apple and Google, as well as small businesses on hand to help you delegate and get out of the weeds, handle tough conversations with team members, plan your hiring strategy, and get your teams to help bring in more revenue, then it's time to sign up for my Team Whisperer consulting sprint. For 90 days, you have me in your back pocket to help you navigate any and every issue happening on your team. DM me the word sprint on Instagram or email me at hello@liagarvin.com and let's build your unstoppable team. And then last, them asking, okay, with that said, with where I'm stuck and what I've tried, what feedback do you have? Or what are your thoughts here? What are any considerations that I want to make? And so step 3 is about bringing you into the conversation now. And you know exactly what the problem is, what they've tried, and you can give them with pinpoint precision exactly how you address this thing. And so now you're taking a meeting that probably could have taken about an hour and you're making it, 10, 15 minutes tops, maybe even 5 minutes, because you know exactly what to do. And in all likelihood, if you hear them sharing the things they've tried, that's going to start sparking things like, oh yeah, that really should work. That should be okay. Or, I don't know about this because there's some other considerations. Now, in this step where you give feedback to your team members saying, okay, let's look at that draft you've written on that email for our VP or the client. I like how you've started this. Let's get to the point a little bit faster, saying, hey, unfortunately, we're not going to make this deadline. I see that challenge coming in third paragraph, and they may not even know what we're talking about. They may not even read to that point. So now you're bringing in that extra amount of feedback or context. But again, you are not saying, oh, just give me the email and I'll write it for you, right? Because how are they going to learn that? So this is the time when you can teach, you can coach, you can advise them on really how to solve this challenge while still keeping the accountability in their court. So you want to make suggestions, ask them more clarifying questions. Okay, well, what else have you tried? What do you think here? What are some of the considerations we want to factor in so that you're maintaining that accountability with this person? Now, again, this is still a time saver. Even if these questions and they don't quite know what to go, even if this, takes, let's say, not 10, 15, 30 minutes to get through, the fact that you are teaching this person how to come to you with a clear ask, having already thought through what to do, where you can give them very, very targeted feedback, that is going to save you time in the end because you haven't taken this thing on. You haven't taken an hour to get to the point of what's actually going on here. And the best part is your team member takes whatever you talk about this meeting and they can run with it. Maybe you say, okay, here's my feedback for, how to restructure this email. Go write a new draft and send me. I feel like we're in good shape. Just send me an email when you have it ready to go and I'll take a quick look at it. Right? Think about how much easier that is for you now that you've talked about the considerations. You've had a chance to set expectations, right? You've had an opportunity to share some context and you're still keeping that task in your team member's court. So this is my problem framing framework that is going to help save you so much time and always keep that door open to your team members coming to you. Because it's not that you don't want them to come to you, but when you're really busy and you're spread thin and you have no time, them coming to you and not even knowing where they're stuck and not even knowing what their problem is, that's not going to help either of you. Okay, so the more they can share to the point where they're stuck, what they've tried, and then open the door for you to give feedback, boom, 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 the easier it's going to be for you to help them solve whatever problem they're solving, stay accountable to having the solution, and go about their way. See you next time. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Managing Made Simple podcast, where my goal is to demystify the job of people management so that together we can make the workplace somewhere everyone can thrive. With that said, let's spread the word. If you love this episode, please pass it along to someone who might benefit from it. See you next time.